The FIA just launched a surprise investigation into Lewis Hamilton's Ferrari, and it could change the entire championship before Sunday's race. Strange data, hidden team radios, and a sudden order to abort Hamilton's flying lap. What is Ferrari really hiding? If what the FIA found is true, Hamilton could face a penalty that blows open the title fight just one race before the end of the season. You do not want to miss what's coming. So hit that subscribe button right now to stay ahead of the drama as Abu Dhabi explodes. Team radio during both free practice sessions revealed a Ferrari garage gripped by doubt, confusion, and internal contradiction. Engineers fed Lewis Hamilton lap data that didn't match his on-track experience, causing a tense series of back-and-forth exchanges. At one point during FP2, Hamilton questioned why the SF25 felt disconnected on exit, while the team insisted the metrics showed stable balance. This gap between human feedback and machine data triggered alarm bells. Moments later, Ferrari Race Control ordered Hamilton to return to the pits mid-run. His response was calm but sharp. "You said this setup would be more stable, it's not." What wasn't broadcast was the instant scramble behind the screens. Ferrari's data stream showed an unexplained energy spike through turn 9, just as Hamilton lifted off. That anomaly, minor in isolation, became the tipping point for the FIA's interest. The engineers, under pressure, decided to pull the car to avoid further exposure. At the same time, Charles Leclerc was experiencing his own crisis. His car displayed erratic behavior in high-speed corners, and his engineer told him to avoid DRS in Sector 3, a highly unusual request unless the system is malfunctioning or being tested under revised parameters. Leclerc replied with confusion, then silence. Insiders later revealed Ferrari was comparing two battery deployment modes without informing the drivers of the real test. As the two drivers tried to make sense of their cars, the pit wall was divided. The hybrid systems specialist demanded an immediate rollback to Friday morning configuration. Meanwhile, the performance engineer argued that they needed to stay on the aggressive map to match McLaren's long-run pace. It was chaos masked in calm voices, and Hamilton's words capture it best: "We're chasing ghosts, guys." This isn't setup, this is something deeper. What made it worse was the timing. Ferrari had no margin for error. After their disastrous Qatar performance, the Scuderia couldn't afford to arrive in Abu Dhabi without a clear baseline. But that's exactly what had happened. And now, with the FIA investigating their power deployment maps, every adjustment made over the weekend would be scrutinized under a microscope. Even standard settings would now need justification. Meanwhile, Mercedes and McLaren listen closely. Hamilton's radios are monitored in real time by rival teams through official feeds. Word spread that Ferrari was testing software that hadn't gone through the FIA's full validation loop. Whether true or not, the damage was done. Both Leclerc and Hamilton were seen having one-on-one meetings with their engineers late in the evening. The mood: frustrated, focused, fierce. If the FIA concludes that Ferrari's hybrid system gave Hamilton a performance edge, intentional or not, penalties could come swiftly. Grid penalties, disqualification from sessions, or even tighter restrictions on energy deployment during qualifying. The team is walking a tightrope, and the tension on the radios proves it. Ferrari is in survival mode, and their hopes now hinge on how much trust the FIA still has in Maranello's integrity. As the investigation unfolds, the implications for the championship are nothing short of massive. With only one race remaining in the 2025 Formula One season, every technical irregularity, every millisecond, and every decision is amplified to championship-defining proportions. Hamilton is not mathematically in contention for the title, but his performance can affect the final standings for Ferrari in Constructors' Championship, and if he's disqualified or penalized, it reshuffles the midfield dynamic completely. Lando Norris currently leads the Drivers' Championship, with Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen breathing down his neck. Any disruption involving Hamilton or Ferrari could tilt the balance. Ferrari, already on the back foot after poor performances in Qatar and Brazil, was hoping for a clean weekend in Abu Dhabi to recover lost ground. Instead, they now find themselves in survival mode, fighting off allegations rather than fighting for position. It's not just a race weekend anymore, it's a reputational battle. What makes this worse for Ferrari is the psychological impact. When your car is under scrutiny and every setup change is a potential violation, your engineers stop innovating, they start protecting. That kind of atmosphere stalls progress. Every change has to be reported, cleared, and double-checked. While McLaren and Red Bull fine-tune their qualifying pace, Ferrari is stuck reviewing telemetry, wondering what went wrong, and who might be blamed if the FIA acts decisively. For Hamilton, the situation is personal. After joining Ferrari in what was hailed as a bold new chapter for both the driver and the team, 2025 has been riddled with inconsistency and misfortune. This latest controversy places him at the center of another storm, one that could tarnish his legacy if not resolved clearly. Despite having nothing to gain in standings, Hamilton's influence on the final race could still be critical if he's able to slow down a title rival or impact strategic outcomes on track. The paddock knows that the FIA's involvement isn't casual. When a probe is opened this late in a season, and on a high-profile team like Ferrari, the governing body isn't just going through the motions, they're expecting answers. The most alarming part? The FIA reportedly pulled telemetry logs from both Bahrain and Qatar for comparison, hinting that this investigation may extend beyond just the Abu Dhabi data. If a pattern is found, the fallout could go well beyond a single race. This puts massive pressure on Frederic Vasseur. If it's proven that Ferrari's energy deployment system skirted the edge of legality, even unintentionally, it would mark the second time in recent memory that Maranello has been dragged into technical controversy. Sponsors, stakeholders, and boardroom decision-makers at Ferrari do not tolerate repeat embarrassments, especially when a media spotlight is this intense. Ultimately, the grid is watching closely. If Ferrari is cleared, they can go on the offensive in Abu Dhabi. If not, Hamilton's final race of the season could be from the back of the grid or not at all. And that sends a message. A message about how thin the line is in Formula One between innovation and infraction. With the championship still undecided, and the FIA turning every stone, what happens in the next 24 hours could define how this entire season is remembered. The clock is ticking, and the FIA is not wasting time. Sources close to the investigation report that the governing body has requested a full technical debrief from Ferrari before Saturday's final practice. This means Ferrari has less than 24 hours to submit a detailed explanation of the energy recovery configurations, power deployment maps, and software updates made to Lewis Hamilton's SF-25 during both free practice sessions. The timing couldn't be more critical. Any delay in documentation could be interpreted as hesitation or concealment. The FIA's next step is likely to be a closed-door meeting between the race stewards, Ferrari representatives, and key FIA technical delegates. These meetings usually occur before qualifying, but can be advanced if the issue is deemed urgent. Penalties, if issued, could range from a reprimand to a grid drop or, in extreme cases, exclusion from qualifying results. The precedent was set years ago when Red Bull faced similar scrutiny over fuel flow irregularities, resulting in immediate disqualifications. But for Ferrari, this is more than just about a technical breach. It's a trust crisis. The FIA operates on a presumption of good faith that teams report all relevant changes honestly and proactively. If the investigation concludes that Ferrari failed to disclose the full scope of their updates, even without malicious intent, it could lead to increased monitoring for the remainder of the season and into the next. That level of scrutiny would cripple any technical innovation program heading into 2026. Ferrari's immediate next move is damage control. Communications staff are already preparing a statement emphasizing cooperation with the FIA and reiterating confidence in their legality. Internally, engineers are working double shifts not to gain performance, but to rebuild transparency in their setup logs and ECU data trails. Every wire, every line of code, every simulation run must be accounted for. This is not about lap time anymore, it's about legal survival in one of the most regulated sports on Earth. For Lewis Hamilton, the situation is a nightmare scenario. A 7-time world champion entering the final race of the season under investigation, in his first year with Ferrari, was not part of the legacy he envisioned. His PR team is carefully controlling messaging, avoiding direct confrontation, and leaving all technical responses to the team. Hamilton remains focused, but those close to the paddock say his mood is cold, distant, and quietly furious. He came to Ferrari to win, not to get tangled in gray areas. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc is caught in the crossfire. With no irregularities flagged on his side of the garage, he's now Ferrari's insurance policy the driver expected to carry the brand if Hamilton's car is deemed ineligible. That pressure is enormous. Leclerc's radio during FP2 revealed concern about strategy and pace, and now with the team's attention divided, his preparation for qualifying may be compromised. If Ferrari can't guarantee a clean setup, Leclerc could be left exposed on Saturday. What happens next will shape the final narrative of the 2025 season. If the FIA finds Ferrari setup compliant, they may walk away with their reputation bruised but intact. If not, the scandal could overshadow the championship fight entirely. One thing is clear, Formula One is no longer just about the fastest car, it's about who can stay clean while dancing on the edge of innovation. And right now, Ferrari's future is balancing on a razor.